Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm a white Bronco on the 91 freeway.
And
It's pretty good.
Welcome to episode 195, Wrestlemania 12.
It's the 12th WrestleMania.
oh, we're a tween.
About to be real finicky, fickle.
Finkly?
Yeah, Finkel? He's here. I'm sure he's here.
Oh yeah, he's here.
This was the 12th annual WrestleMania, produced by the WWF. It would take place on March 31st, 1996, from the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim in Anaheim, California, with an attendance of 18,853 and a buy rate of 290,000.
80,000. Yeah, it's great.
I'm trying to remember what the last Mania show was, but I don't think it was 18. Maybe I'm wrong.
11 was in Indianapolis. Is that right?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Google
I got no memory.
Google alert. Live Googling on
Live
air.
Googling.
It was in Connecticut.
15,000 fans.
About 16. So
Down from the previous year's attendance of 18,065.
But yeah, I mean, Connecticut's a small place. I imagine that most of those 16,000 were
Yeah,
not.
and I mean, you had
We're
Lawrence
from,
Taylor.
New York and...
You had LT and Bam Bam as your headliners.
that's
so-
true.
yeah.
That probably would have done better in New York.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
But we're in California.
we are
Anaheim in particular.
Anaheim.
I know of a few things that are in Anaheim.
The Angels.
That's one. The Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, is it in Anaheim?
Disneyland.
Disneyland. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't realize that it was in Anaheim. For some reason, I thought Anaheim was more north, but I guess it's not.
I
No,
went
it's
to,
actually, I think, west or east of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I went to Disney when I was a kid, Disneyland when I was a kid, and we were there twice. I think I was 6 and 7, and that whole area, it just seemed like it was one big giant city. Like
It is.
San Francisco and Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farms and all these other places were just, a few blocks from each other or a boat ride.
Oh, those are definitely not a few blocks from each other.
Yeah, I just felt that way as a
Yeah.
kid because you hit them all at the same time. I did the same thing as probably around the same age, like 6 or 7. But I only went to Disneyland not at once. I know Knott's Berry Farm maybe more than one time.
So I want to get back out there. I mean, I've been to California since then, but I haven't been to the places that I was at as a kid. So I want to get to San Francisco. I want to go back to Disneyland. I want to go to Knott's Berry Farm. I want to take a boat ride to Catalina Island. But
You do one of those train wine tours through the
Yeah.
Napa Valley. That'd be fun.
that'd be awesome.
Uh,
Go to Bella Country.
yeah, but isn't Disneyland kind of? Is it nice or is it kind of trash? Because Disney World is like the big one. Matt would know.
Disneyland, I mean, I actually have never been to Disneyland.
Oh yeah, but what's the common consensus?
I mean, it's the original, so it's
It's probably more kept up than it was.
I don't know how
When I
it is
went
now,
as a
but back
kid.
then it was great.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Disney. They do a great job with their
yeah,
properties.
the park stuff.
So I'm sure that it's up to date. And
Yeah.
it doesn't look run down by any means, even
Yeah.
though it's almost
I don't know how old it is.
probably 70 years, because last year was the 50th of Disney World, and Disneyland was around for like 15 to 20 years before that. So
Let's see. 1955. Damn.
so it's coming up on
Coming
the
up on
70th. Yeah.
Wicked. But yeah, we are in Anaheim, and coincidentally, What I brought with me today was something that ties into Disneyland. Doritos. Oddly enough.
How does Doritos tie into this?
Yeah, it's
World
news to me.
popular corn tortilla chip here. An early version of the iconic Doritos corn chip was made in Anaheim. As the story goes, an Anaheim food plant known as Alex Foods made taco shells for Casa de Fritos, a Frito-Lay sponsored restaurant at Disneyland. A salesman for Alex Foods suggested the Frontierland restaurant cut and fry the leftover tortillas and serve them as a toasted snack. The traveling Frito-Lay executives liked what they saw and tapped Alex Foods to produce a seasoned corn chip for Frito-Lay. Boom. Doritos.
Damn,
Courtesy of Disney.
I never eat Doritos, but they're fucking good.
Oh yeah, they've been a favorite forever. I bought
Have you
these
ever
ones
eaten
'cause
Cool
I've-
Ranch anything else other than a Dorito?
I don't think there is Cool Ranch any other flavor or any other thing. Is there?
I mean, you literally just put ranch seasoning on stuff, and
Mhm.
it's technically Cool Ranch. But
Yeah.
like when you think about it, the only thing that's Cool Ranch
I mean, I put
is a Dorito.
ranch seasoning on fries. I put ranch seasoning into like burgers before I grilled them up. Yeah, I mean,
We're trying to
I like to dip stuff in old ranch dip. I'm not really a fan of ranch dressing for dipping things in, but like the actual dip stuff.
Some like
that you
sour
make.
cream and
Yeah.
ranch dress, ranch
that stuff I
mix.
like.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I just had some of that the other day.
These spicy sweet chili chips are pretty damn tasty.
Yeah,
I've actually never had any of those.
That's why I bought them
it
because I
tastes
never
kind of
tried
like
them before either.
Chinese food. The
'Cause I'm not a spicy person, so
They're not-
it's not a chip that I'm gonna just be like,
yeah,
I'm gonna buy these.
they're not too spicy at all. The it's a gross thing that my dad will do is get regular Doritos. He only does this like around the holidays, where they like put like one of those mini crock pots of queso like on the counter, and then next to it, they're not just regular chips. He puts the nacho cheese Dorito, so it's like a double.
Oh, yeah.
It's gnarly.
Double decker cheese dip, man.
But I always eat at least 2 or 3 of them because I'm like, all right, it's here.
It's one of those, nostalgia things. You grew up on that.
And yeah, I feel
Gotta
like
have
the nacho cheese Dorito kind of went out of style a little bit
it. Yeah.
until Taco Bell brought in the Doritos Locos taco thing. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Not that I ever go to Taco Bell, so.
I do occasionally when I want a Mexican pizza, and then I get pissed off because they usually don't have the stuff for a Mexican pizza still.
They're supposed to be bringing it back, that's what I heard.
Oh, it's been brought back. They just don't know how to keep it in stock.
Ah.
As you had it on your menu for 40 years, but somehow having it gone for 6 months makes it to where you all of a sudden can't make them anymore.
Either that or makes makes them sell out consistently. People are like, well, it's not going to be here forever.
Yeah. This is why they should just have a Mexican pizza restaurant. Just fuck all your other stuff that nobody wants. People obviously just want the Mexican pizza, so just Taco Bell pizza. Boom. Make it happen.
Mexican pizza taco truck.
There you go.
You just have like chicken, pork, or beef or whatever, and make them a little nicer.
Be higher quality than Taco Bell.
And I mean, what isn't?
Yeah. They have way more flavors of Doritos than I remember.
A chewy.
There was seriously like 12 or 15 different flavors of Doritos on the shelf, which I was kind of surprised by because I didn't realize they had that many.
They have like
I know there's-
peppermint ones.
I know there's quite a few.
A bunch of different
Cool Ranch is basically the only
flaming
ones
hot
that-
and spicy ones.
if I get Doritos, it's Cool Ranch usually.
Yep, I dig me some Cool Ranch and these spicy sweet chili. So, hey, thank you Disney, thank you Alex Foods, thank you Casa de Fritos, the Frito-Lay restaurant at Disneyland back in the day.
Absolutely.
You changed the world.
No shit, they definitely made somebody a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a film that came out the next week, technically, but it's right around the same time as WrestleMania, Primal Fear.
Good movie. Good movie.
Can't even picture that one in my mind.
Richard Gere, Edward Norton.
It's really the first time you probably would have seen
Edward
Edward
Norton.
Norton.
Yeah. Laura Linney was in it.
Oh, I love Laura Linney. She's always great, but
Norton was nominated for his first Oscar for this one for supporting actor.
oh damn, it came out hot.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie
Now
itself.
he does nothing.
He played a guy with split personalities that was accused of murdering a priest or something like that. Yeah, and it's a very suspense-filled, action-packed, wild ride movie. Yeah, it was a nice time to be Richard Gere because it was the hot movie of the moment, and yeah, Edward Norton took off from there for a few years and then went full Norton and hasn't really been seen since the Hulk.
Edward Norton.
He's in the new Knives Out movie.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Okay.
cool. Yeah, that'll be
I guess
exciting
he was in
to see.
Birdman too.
Wow. It's directed by Gary Hoblit, who I do not know, but it looks like he did a lot of cop shows, Hill Street Blues, NYPD Blue, LA Law. So, it makes sense that he would make a suspense movie where I assume Richard Gere plays a cop or detective.
Lawyer. It's a courtroom drama, more or less. And Richard Gere is the one that's the defense attorney.
Yes.
Frequency. I did see that one.
Frequency is such a good movie.
I remember seeing it in maybe the theater, but I don't.
Dude went on a little bit of a run here. Primal Fear, Fallen, and Frequency.
Yeah.
Like 3 movies that like a lot of people probably underappreciate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're just like solid flicks.
Like Fallen is probably my favorite Denzel movie. That's how much I like Fallen.
I should check out Fallen. It's got John Goodman and Donald Sutherland in it.
If you've never seen it,
And Primal Fear.
It's great.
Yeah, they both sound fun.
Edward Norton won Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes for Primal Fear.
I don't know who he lost the Oscar to.
97.
More live Googling.
Oh, this is bugging me. I used to be so good at this.
Were you an Oscar trivia guy?
Yeah. I think he lost to Cuba from Jerry Maguire.
Maybe the only good Cuba Gooding Jr. performance.
Boys on the Side.
Oh,
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, and then plays a small part, but he's fine in As Good as It Gets.
Yeah.
Great movie. But he really fell off hard after that.
I mean, he
Snow
had
Dogs.
his little comeback with, being OJ in the
Oh, did he?
People versus OJ Simpson. But he was... His portrayal of OJ was a little different than what I remember. But, I mean, that's because maybe he was portraying the OJ that the public didn't see, where he was just this whiny bitch baby.
Yeah, but after 2000, he really went on a tear of doing things that he probably should not have said yes to.
Paycheck's a paycheck.
Sometimes it is. But Snow Dogs? Radio? Come on. Everybody should have known better by the time Radio came out.
Radio was supposed to get him to that Best Actor Oscar, though.
Yeah, but instead helped supply one of the best jokes in Tropic Thunder with plenty of fuel, as if his performance was the only one that did, they made that joke funny, because plenty of people have done that. I'm looking at you, Rosie O'Donnell, and Giovanni Ribisi might actually be mentally handicapped. And we got Juliette Lewis, Oh, and Sean Penn, another performance where it's like, ugh, yeesh.
I Am Sam was great.
Is it?
I loved it.
I've seen clips of it, and it was rough, but maybe in context. Still probably better than Radio.
I Am Sam is what Radio wanted to be, because it was nominated for all the awards.
I mean, Sean Penn is probably like a method guy, so just imagine after the camera cuts.
Yep.
Yeesh.
Well, one other note. In a couple days, guys. Happy New Year's.
Oh, this is right in between shows.
Right.
Eat your black-eyed peas.
Eat them. Don't listen to them.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely don't listen to them. Maybe, maybe have a resolution.
That's right.
It's up to you.
Pop some champagne.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a pop.
That's a pretty good one.
Right?
Yeah, but we get it.
We get what you're going for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Get yourself some Doritos to help celebrate the occasion. Soak up all that booze. Happy New Year. Here's to 2023. 2022 has been interesting.
It's been better than the last couple.
Better than the last couple.
But you gotta take your wins where you can.
That's right. Well, let's see if we can get some wins watching this WrestleMania 12.
This is the first WrestleMania where everything is a DQ or countout.
Spoilers.
Just kidding. That would be rough. You can't be doing that on WrestleMania?
It was.
No. I'm just sad.
We get narration over shots of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. It is the dream of the challenger to become champion, the crowning achievement in a lifetime of yearning. It is the dream of the champion to aspire to excellence. His legacy is undeniably etched in the annals of time. The Heartbreak Kid is a maverick who spits in the face of adversity, while the Hitman is a mighty ring general who stands in defiance of defeat. Two men will endure a grueling hour of guts and athleticism, with only one realizing their quest, while the other will breathe loneliness. Who will be stripped of their dream?
I mean, this is a main event that is worthy of about, 2,500 more asses and seats, I'd say, compared to last year. At least, these are the two biggest stars in the company.
Yes.
Yeah.
The two biggest stars in the company, not just somebody who played football coming in to say, hey, look at me.
Mm-hmm, and a guy that you never really booked incredibly strong in the first place.
Yes. Now, Shawn and Bret, this is I know they fought before, but this is the battle of a lifetime, the night of nights for the both of them. This is it. This is what it all comes down to. This is what they've been waiting for. This is more than the Survivor Series when it was champion versus champion. This is the boyhood dream.
This is a match that you keep separated and for an extended amount of time while Diesel fights everybody too much because that's the smarter thing to do.
Yep.
We then get a 20th Century Fox style logo
Bum-ba-da-ba.
with animated helicopters flying all around it before Vince McMahon welcomes everyone, where he's joined by Jerry the King Lawler for commentary. They discuss Undertaker and Diesel matching up, with the King saying they are dangerously close to Forest Lawn Cemetery, which could be Taker's final resting place.
This is another big match too. He came out of from out underneath the canvas and just popped up. So, a decent build.
Vince then starts to talk about some other matches when music hits. So we head to our first match.
Here we go.
Vader, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, and Owen Hart with Jim Cornette versus Yokozuna, Ahmed Johnson, and Jake the Snake Roberts with Mr. Fuji. And if Yoko's team wins, he would get 5 minutes alone in the ring with Corny.
Now that's wrestling.
Kinky.
We get footage of Zuna turning on his former Camp Cornette members from Raw, followed by Yokozuna bonsai dropping a dummy that was supposed to look like Cornette.
There's plenty of jokes there, guys.
Yep. If you remember from the last WWF pay-per-view that we watched, it was actually set up to be Yokozuna versus Vader, but basically Vince realized that those two guys probably aren't going to put on the greatest match against each other.
No, Yoko can't move like he used to.
And also,
Vader can't probably lift him either.
And then combine that with that one of the matches was going 60 minutes, so he tried to get everybody as big of a payday as possible. He's like, we'll make it a 6-man tag.
It's a smart thing to do. If you're going to have a 6-man tag, might as well be the first match, and you got some guys, some big, impressive gentlemen in here, and Owen Hart to bump for everyone.
Yep.
Because Jake ain't doing it.
Nope.
Did you guys notice the canvas on the ring?
I don't remember.
The WWF logo was on it.
Okay.
This is actually the only time in pay-per-view history, WWF pay-per-view history, that they would have the logo in the middle of the ring.
Oh, instead of,
Okay.
Is it still the light blue that looks gray?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to flip back and look again, because, I don't remember seeing that, but it's been a little while.
It's better not to have. Well, I say that, but I really love the New Japan ring. even then it has like ads in it, but I think that's just like a thing where it's like, well, I like this product a lot, so it's just like when you see it, it just gives you some warm fuzzies.
So as soon as Yoko gets in the ring, he and Vader start throwing punches. So a brawl erupts between all 6 men. Owen and Bulldog get thrown from the ring, leaving the Mastodon alone, only to be clotheslined by Zuna over to the floor. Ahmed then flies over the ropes with a pescado onto Vader, but this allows Hart and Davey Boy to attack him from behind, bringing Jake to the floor to make the save. Vader makes it back into the ring for the 2 giants to face off again with right hands, when Owen makes a blind tag and drop kicks Yokozuna from behind. Hart then runs into a chop before being tossed into a corner, but Bulldog yanks Owen out to save him from the splash. Hart and Davey Boy begin to double team Yoko, using ref distractions to maintain control, when Vader starts with the stiff shots in the corner, only for Zuna to duck one and lay out the Mastodon with a Uranagi. Yokozuna then crawls to the corner for the hot tag, bringing Johnson in to clean house with right hands to everyone. Power slam to Bulldog when Vader would clothesline him from behind, and the Mastodon would telegraph a back body drop. So Ahmed tries for a sunset flip, only for Vader to attempt a butt splash, but Johnson moves in time to deliver a leaping clothesline. Cornette then jumps on the apron to distract the ref, allowing his team to triple team Ahmed in the corner. And Davey Boy looks to continue the punishment, but Johnson just no-sells and body slams the Bulldog down before attempting a Pearl River plunge. But Owen leaps off the top rope with a missile dropkick to make the save. Hart is working over Ahmed with elbows, right hands, and an enziguri. Vader does the same with a splash and an avalanche splash. Owen comes back in with a rake of the eyes and goes for a clothesline that ends up doing nothing. So he tries again, only to be clotheslined down by Johnson, allowing him to make the corner to tag in Roberts. DDT. And the Snake nails several jabs and a short arm clothesline to Hart. He calls for the DDT, but Owen hangs onto the ropes to block. Jake then tosses Hart to the corner and charges in after him, only to receive a knee to the face, allowing Davey Boy to come in with stomps on Robert. Vader returns to hit some stiff shots, a short arm clothesline, a corner splash, and a clothesline. Owen with a top rope elbow drop before locking on a submission hold momentarily, when Bulldog comes in to deliver a running power slam for the pin, and the Snake kicks out.
Snakes don't have legs.
Jake receives another splash from the Mastodon for a 2 count. Davey Boy goes for a leg drop that Roberts avoids and makes the crawl to the corner for the hot tag. Yokozuna with right hands to Vader, pummeling down to the mat before hitting a running corner splash. Hart and Bulldog then join the fray, only to be clotheslined and double noggin knocked, followed by a Samoan drop on Davey Boy. Yoko tags the Snake back in, who again looks to DDT Owen, only for Bulldog to make the save. Ahmed then jumps in the ring to knock Davey Boy out to the floor, following out to Brawl, while Jake has recovered and finally delivers the DDT.
You gotta tease it, brother.
But the ref doesn't make the count, as he is distracted by the brawling on the outside.
And Jim Cornette doing his job.
He jumps in the ring and looks to nail a racket shot to Roberts, but the Snake sees him in time to block. Now Jake looks to hit a DDT on Corny, but Roberts feels the Mastodon breathing down his neck, so he turns, only for Vader to nail an avalanche splash and a Vader bomb for the pin and the win.
Jake.
Everybody got to do a little bit of something.
Yep.
And it was put together well enough for the crowd to be into it. But
and I feel like Vader and Yokozuna will probably still match off against each other in a singles match at some point. Just not at WrestleMania.
yeah, it's kind of like, we'll probably save this for a smaller show that might help the sales of that smaller show.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's on in your house in
It's
a few
definitely
weeks.
in your house kind of match.
Foreshadowing.
We then go to some classic footage of Roddy Piper with Michael Cole narration.
See, I'm glad to hear that because as I was listening to that, I kept thinking, this has to be Michael Cole. I'm pretty sure this is Michael Cole, but he just sounds so young and not Michael Cole-ish that I wasn't for sure if it was Michael Cole.
It sounds a little less like the robot Michael Cole we have today. You could have told me he's a Cylon and be like, yes, you're probably right.
So at the time of WrestleMania 12, Cole was not actually part of the company. This was completely a redub that is on the network at this point.
Well, never mind then. Maybe he just tried to sound younger.
I mean,
it could have been
it
recorded.
may have been recorded a long time ago.
I was hoping to hear that this is what made them hire him because his voice sounded so fitting.
Yeah, this could have been from the beginning of the network or something.
Yeah. Piper's power as president would arouse Goldust. So the Golden One would dedicate poems and suggestively play some bagpipes.
He's so bizarre.
Roddy would try to ignore it all, but Goldust would just slap him in the ring. So Piper had no choice but to return the favor and challenge the Golden One to a fight, saying he would make a man out of him. And we go to Vincent Lawler talking about the match to come before showing us Marlena in the back, watching with champagne on ice. And we go to our second match. Roddy Piper versus Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl.
I mean, hey, it's probably going to be better than the 18-wheeler ring a bell thing.
Probably.
Whatever that was called. I'm sure they had a silly name for that one, too.
King of the Road.
King of the Road. Damn. At least that's not a silly name. It's a great name for it.
So the Golden One was originally supposed to face Razor Ramon in a Miami street fight. But the bad guy had given his notice, followed by being suspended for failing a drug test.
And oh, what a ride he would be on from there.
And this match, or at least this part of it, was filmed a few days earlier. So another cinematic match.
Yeah, I mean, it's cinematic, and they do some intelligent things with it, as we'll come to see throughout the show.
So Roddy is waiting for Goldust with baseball bat in hand when the Golden One would arrive in a gold Cadillac. And there are people looking on from the buildings surrounding the area when Piper would grab a fire hose and start spraying the car down before smashing the windows with the bat. Goldust would escape out the passenger side door, but Roddy would catch up with him to choke him with the bat. And Piper smashes the Golden One into a catering table that happens to be sitting there.
Yeah, that was I got a kick out of that. Like, we're eating sandwiches outside.
Before
Get your snack on before we sweat it out.
Before slamming Goldust into some dumpsters and dumping trash cans onto him.
I love that the trash can is just full of shredded paper that they shredded just that day. It was work trash, not shoot trash.
Roddy grabs the fire hose again and sprays the Golden One down, smashes his head against the hood of the car before body slamming him onto the hood as well.
And I bet that fire hose kind of hurt. That was a lot of water.
There's a few things in this match that I'm just like,
Yeah.
Piper climbs onto the car hood as well for them to deliver a falling fist, which ended up breaking Roddy's hand in the process.
See, there was one punch in this match. I can't remember if it was in this beginning part or in later on, but yeah, he punches Goldust in the face, and it's just like this smack.
Yeah.
I thought that was where he busted his hand.
Yeah, it might have been right before that. 'Cause he was giving him some hard rights before then, and then it might have caught the car. But I thought Goldust was bleeding at first. And I was like, oh no, that's Piper's hand.
Goldust nails a low blow before tossing Piper into a dumpster and jumping back into his car, where he tries to run Roddy over, but Piper jumps onto the hood at the last second. Roddy finally falls off, so the Golden One takes off, leaving the backlot. So Piper jumps in his white Ford Bronco to give chase. Maybe we'll catch up with them later in the show.
It was pretty wild.
I was kind of like amazed and like weirded out all at the same time.
Yeah. It's like for what it is, like I don't necessarily love this kind of thing in wrestling, but this is done better than a lot of stuff we've seen before and since.
Yeah.
As far as
They're not rolling around in the back of a truck throwing hay at each other. They're swinging bats, breaking glass, punching cars, punching each other in the face, bleeding. Yeah, it's an actual.
It feels more like a fight and less
backlot brawl.
Yeah, it feels less cinematic than plenty of things they've done since then. This feels more like
cinematic with a very extreme touch of reality to it. Of either I'm pissed at you right now, so I'm actually going to take my frustration, or hey brother, let's just do this.
Yeah, I mean Piper's game. We know Piper's game. And Dustin, he can handle himself. Yeah. Big Texas boy.
That's right.
So we go to our third match. Stone Cold Steve Austin with the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Savio Vega.
It's official. The Stone Cold One has arrived.
Yep. He is,
he's no longer a master of the ring.
That's right.
Feels good. It's like, cool.
Yeah, we actually get to hear his name now. He's not just the ringmaster, even though he could have been the ringmaster Steve Austin. Still, I'm happy we've got the Steve Austin name back on display and officially with the Stone Cold moniker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And bringing him in with Ted DiBiase is a nice way to bring him in before he moves on to bigger and better things.
So Doc Hendricks stops Savio before his entrance for an interview, where he shows footage of Austin avoiding being tagged in. So Vega hits Stone Cold, which brings Austin in off the top rope with a double axe handle to cost Savio the match. And Vega would try to get some revenge in a different match, only for Stone Cold to lock on the $1 Million Dream to put Savio to sleep. So a little backstory here. The reason in that first clip that we saw them teaming up was that Billy Gunn had gotten injured. So they had to vacate the tag team championships. And there was a tag team tournament where Vega actually teamed up with Razor Ramon in the first round. Mm. But then that suspension came through. So they had a random drawing and Stone Cold was named Savio's new partner.
So you got the heel and a face tag team. I mean, considering how convoluted that all is, it was probably the smart thing to do at the time.
WWF's own Lethal Lottery.
We go back to Doc and he asks if Vega has an answer for the $1 Million Dream. But he doesn't answer that question. Instead, saying he got the match he wants and tells Austin to be ready for the fight of his life. So as soon as Savio rolls into the ring, Stone Cold attacks. But Vega responds with right hands and a side slam of his own. And they brawl their way to the floor where Savio nails some chops, rams Austin into the apron before rolling back into the ring. Vega then telegraphs a back body drop, allowing Fang McFreeze to kick him away and take control by throwing Savio shoulder first into the ring post.
Posted Fang McFreeze?
That was a potential
name.
For Austin?
Austin.
Fang McFreeze. He must have been like, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Oh, wait. I said it wrong. It was Fang McFrost.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Neither one. They're like...
But there was also Chili McFreeze.
I've heard Chili McFreeze.
That was the two that I wrote down.
Wow. Jesus. Chili McFreeze just sounds like a penguin that sells ice cream. Well, he was probably like, let's try again.
Frosty the Fang Man. What could have been?
Yeah.
So Austin with some double axes and stomps for a 2 count before focusing on the arm, which Vega escapes to deliver a roundhouse kick to take Stone Cold down for a near fall. Vince then gets a phone call from Roddy Piper saying he's chasing Goldust and that he's not seeing nothing yet.
And I love that he's on the phone from the White Bronco,
And you can hear police sirens in the background, but the call gets disconnected.
Cell service back in the day, it wasn't that great.
So while that's happening, Austin sends Savio into the ring post shoulder first again to go back to work on the arm. And Roddy calls back in to say he will chase Goldust all the way to Tijuana if he has to, because he's going to make a man out of him before the call gets disconnected once more.
And again, I say, Kiki.
Mm-hmm. He calls him a fruitcake. It's like, I haven't heard that in a long time. It's probably a good thing.
Stone Cold has dropped a second rope elbow for a 2 count, but then misses a clothesline. So Vega hits a crossbody for a near fall. Austin answers with a Thez press and right hands, but Savio rolls him over for the two to start trading pin attempts that all get 2.
It's funny that I get excited for a Thez press. Anytime I catch one, I'm like, it's nice.
Vince now says we have aerial footage of the chase.
We got the chopper.
So we get split screen, where we see Piper's white Bronco going down the highway with police cars giving chase. Vega is sent to the corner with Stone Cold charging into another roundhouse kick, followed by Savio coming off the second rope with a splash, only for Austin to get his knees up. Stone Cold goes to pick Vega up, but he's rolled up for a near fall. But Austin gets back to his feet to body slam Savio and head to the top rope, coming off only to crash into Vega's boot. Now both make it back to their feet at the same time, and they start trading right hands. When Savio would gain the advantage with a chop, a back body drop, and multiple clotheslines. Vega would then go for a spinning heel kick, but Stone Cold ducks, sending Savio crashing into the ref.
Ref bump.
DiBiase then places the $1 million belt in the ring before going to distract Vega to no avail as he turns to kick Austin away. Looks to make a cover, but he realizes the ref is still out. So Savio goes to check on Tim White, while the $1 Million Man jumps on the apron to distract again, allowing Stone Cold to grab the $1 Million belt to clock Vega with.
What's cool about the $1 Million belt is that it looks so much heavier than the regular belts.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, dude, this is the one to hit people with.
Yep. It's solid gold, baby, with all them jewels.
Austin uses the belt one more time before putting Savio in a chokehold. Not the $1 Million Dream, as Lawler calls it. All while DiBiase is trying to wake the ref up with a Coke to the face. And I mean a can.
Yeah.
Not the drug.
Yeah, not that type of ref bump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I assume this is before DiBiase found God.
Tim White finally crawls over to check on Vega, raising his arm 3 times with no response, making Stone Cold the winner. Post-match, Austin refuses to release the choke, while the $1 Million Man is taunting Savio until more officials arrive to clear the ring.
Some Taz vibes.
A little bit.
Stone Cold Maniac.
Vincent sends it back to more footage of Roddy in his Bronco, even saying the footage looks awfully familiar.
Yeah. It is the actual footage from
OJ.
From the whole OJ debacle.
Yes.
See, that's one way to put it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. God, I would kill for a white Bronco. Just that same year, it would be such a cool car to have. I'm sure that they sell for more just because there's freaks like me that would be like, I would love to drive one.
I like your word choice there.
It'd be cool.
I'd kill for a white Bronco.
Yeah, that's
And he did.
Ooh, yeah. For the record, I would not kill for a white Bronco.
Oh, we know which line to edit off that. Mr. Perfect is now in the locker room with Diesel, and he shows the footage of Big Daddy Cool being dragged under the ring by the Undertaker from In Your House. And then on Raw, the lights would start flickering when Diesel heads to the ring to confront the dead man, only for him to not be there when the lights would come back on.
Playing mind games with the big man.
Witchcraft.
The next week on Raw, Big Daddy Cool sees himself inside of a casket. Like he opens up a casket and there's a dummy that looks
Yeah, anytime
like Diesel.
Anytime Taker did that, it was always creepy to me because oftentimes they look very much like the person that they were supposed to be replicating.
I can't remember exactly what it looked like, but in my head, I imagined that they just have somebody else that like is a body double for them standing up, and they actually put them in the actual these like Kevin Nash in the casket, and then a body double behind him because then you don't see his face.
Remember, he did one years later with Randy Orton and Bob Orton, and yeah, it was creepy just because it looked like them looking at them their dead selves in caskets.
Yeah, whole handsome Randy and large Bob.
We go back to Perfect, who asks Diesel how it affects him. And he just says that he doesn't sweat the little or big things before calling Taker a big obstacle and saying, Big Daddy takes cool of you.
Sure.
Diesel then turns his attention to Shawn Michaels, saying he's coming for him next, before making some weird noises as Perfect sends it back to Vince.
What kind of noises did he make?
And McMahon sends it to more footage of the Bronco chase, but it disappears just as quickly.
Yeah,
it was almost like it was a production error, not supposed to be there.
Oh yeah, it almost feels like they're trying to spam it a little too much so you won't forget, but it's like no one's gonna forget.
Yeah.
There was blood, which you don't see very often, and the guy got hit by a car, you know.
And if they're
and it's Roddy Piper.
If they're going with the OJ footage, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I wonder how.
Interrupt everything with constant footage of the chase because that's how it was.
Yeah, I should know the date of the chase from that 30 for 30, but I can't think of it.
July 6th,
And this show is
1994. Is that right?
I can't remember. This show is April or
March 31st.
1996.
March 31st, 96.
October 3rd, 95.
Okay.
So it's been like 6 months ish.
Yeah, something like that. We then go to our fourth match. Hunter, Hearst, Helmsley with Sable versus the Ultimate Warrior. And we haven't seen the Ultimate Warrior since SummerSlam 92, episode 74.
Wow.
Oh, that Jerry Lawler says that he heard the Ultimate Warrior is 400 pounds and has shaved his head. It's like, I don't know why they thought that would be a funny thing to say, but I got a kick out of it.
But of course he's proven wrong.
Absolutely.
When the Warrior arrives to pyro shaped like his face paint, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's totally cool, but it's really like, I know the Warrior. We'll just save it for now.
So Ultimate Warrior runs to the ring, shakes the ropes, only for Triple H to jump the Warrior with right hands, kicks, and a pedigree. The Ultimate Warrior immediately no-sells it. Hunter goes for more right hands, but Warrior begins to Ultimate Up and nails several clotheslines, leaping shoulder tackle, a press slam, and a splash for the pin and the win.
It looks like he's really trying to see if he can get him Hogan again. It didn't work the first time. Will it work the second? Ultimate Warrior's jacket. I was like, did Rob Liefeld draw that? If you see the back of it, it's like a drawing of Ultimate Warrior. And for your comic book fans, it looks similar to the Rob Liefeld.
Are you saying there was no feet?
I don't know if there was feet. There might have been no feet, but there was plenty of muscles.
So this was actually Triple H's first loss in the WWF.
And his finisher was no sold.
As was everything else.
Hey, he didn't get the drop on him, but I mean that's the smart thing to do with the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also a heel.
If you want some offense, yes.
If you want anything at all.
We go backstage, and Todd Pettengill is there with Wildman Mark Marrow.
I know. Sable somehow still got on the show for you.
We miss Johnny.
Oh, he misses Johnny too.
Even though Todd says Morrow,
Yep.
he says Morrow.
Oh, yeah.
But Mark says, I have arrived. I have arrived. And that he has waited 5 long years to come to the WWF. I'm like,
Why are you waiting?
why are you waiting?
I think he was doing fine over on the other side.
Yeah. you did a whole lot better on the other side.
Yeah.
Pettengill then asks him about potential opponents, and Mero tells him to look into his eyes and see the wildness in his soul. When Helmsley would accidentally bump into Mark while arguing with Sable, because Triple H, basically blaming Sable for his loss as they're walking along. Mero takes exception and begins to brawl with Triple H, slamming themselves into a garage door and scuffle on the floor until officials would tear them apart.
This seems very similar to the last year of Mark Mero in WCW.
Yep.
Heel, lady involved, blah, blah, blah. You guys get it.
Unfortunately, WCW had the upper hand in the storyline because Mark Mero as Mark Mero is not believable.
Not over.
Mark Mero as a Little Richard wannabe totally works, but he is
one of the smartest things that
intimidating.
WCW ever did. They actually trademarked the Johnny B. Bad
Did they?
character because Vince wanted
Johnny B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad,
For good reason.
Mm-hmm.
but it was trademarked, so they had to do
Something else.
something else.
It's like, well, then you don't even want him or need him at that point.
No.
God, I feel so. I mean, he's not the world's greatest wrestler, but he was good at that character, and it's such a bummer that he didn't get to, finish out his run in
Yeah,
WCW.
he is not intimidating. He is not.
Which is funny that he's not
main event
intimidating
worthy
because he's a
as
big
Mark
guy.
Mero. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the. I remember watching WrestleMania 12 when it was first airing and thinking,
Fuck.
wow, this is going to be bad because
Bad with
He's not Johnny.
1D, not 2.
yeah, he's not Johnny, and he unfortunately will never get anywhere near where he was.
Marco.
Mero.
Oh, no.
We get some more Bronco footage before we go to our fifth match. Diesel versus Undertaker with Paul Bearer. And the two men start trading strikes when a knee to the gut from Big Daddy Cool would put him in control, whipping the dead man to the corner, following in with a clothesline. Diesel tries it again, but only for Taker to get a boot up and lay out Big Daddy Cool with a clothesline of his own. But he then misses an elbow drop, allowing Diesel to clothesline him out to the floor.
But Undertaker lands on his feet, as he always does.
And then the Undertaker drags Big Daddy Cool to the floor, where they trade strikes again. Diesel attempts to slam the dead man's head into the steel steps, only for it to be blocked and reversed.
Reverse.
They roll back into the ring where Big Daddy Cool telegraphs a back body drop, allowing Taker to attempt a tombstone, only for Diesel to escape out the back. So Undertaker starts to run the ropes and hit a crossbody for a 2 count. The dead man grabs the arm of Big Daddy Cool and heads upstairs for Old School.
Or as it was known back then, now.
Before going for another crossbody, which Diesel ducks, sending Taker tumbling out to the apron, where Big Daddy Cool looks to nail some forearms. Undertaker drops Diesel, throat first, across the ropes. Back in the ring, the dead man with some right hands that send Big Daddy Cool tumbling out over to the floor, and he falls out to ram Diesel into the ring post.
Posted.
Before grabbing a chair, but Big Daddy Cool ducks the shot, allowing him to toss Taker into the guardrail. Diesel continues the punishment by ramming Undertaker into the ring post multiple times.
Posted.
Before they head back into the ring, where Big Daddy Cool delivers a big boot, a side slam, snake eyes, and a body guillotine across the ropes.
Taker, really giving a little bit to Big Daddy Cool. They're both big men. Some big power moves all in a row.
He continues with knees to the gut in the corner, some forearms, before charging into an elbow. The two men then start trading strikes once more when they hit each other with a big boot for a double KO.
Double big boot.
Big Daddy Cool's up first, and he applies a bear hug, which the dead man escapes with a clap of the ears, followed by a back suplex. Taker drops an elbow and heads up top for a flying clothesline for a near fall, but then telegraphs a back body drop, allowing Diesel to capitalize with a jackknife powerbomb, only to not make a cover.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. He probably just assumed you need more to put away a dead man.
Yeah, Big Daddy Cocky, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Big Daddy Cool waits for him to rise, hits a second jackknife, but again doesn't cover. So Undertaker grabs him by the throat once he does go for the cover. Diesel keeps escaping momentarily with right hands, but the dead man continues to grab him by the throat. So Big Daddy Cool ends up escaping with a back suplex. They begin to trade strikes once more, only for Taker to be sent to the ropes, coming back with a leaping clothesline, following up with a choke slam and a tombstone for the pin and the win. This would make Undertaker 5-0 at WrestleMania.
Five-time WrestleMania champ.
We then go backstage, and Pettengill is in security, where he's watching monitors so we can see Goldust and Piper's cars have made it to the arena.
They're back from their joyride.
Marlena has gathered the Golden One, and they make their way to the ring, with Roddy giving chase. So we go to our second match continued.
It has to end sometime.
Roddy Piper versus Goldust
Part 2.
in a Hollywood backlot brawl.
That ends in the ring.
The arena, yeah.
They trade punches until the Golden One attacks Roddy's leg before setting up for a pile driver. But it's just so he can grab Piper's ass. Roddy breaks free, but the Golden One just attacks the leg again to regain control. Goldust then rips Piper's shirt off and uses it to choke Roddy, before dragging him to the corner to wrap Piper's leg around the ring post. The Golden One is working over Roddy with right hands, before heading up top. But Piper shakes the ropes to cause Goldust to crotch himself. And Roddy looks to take advantage, only to receive several headbutts and a golden kiss, which just infuriates Piper. And Goldust looks to stay on the attack, but Roddy begins to just no-sell everything, delivering a flurry of punches before grabbing the Golden One by the Oscar and delivering a headbutt to his Golden Globes.
I was wondering if you're going to do Oscars, because in my notes when he got crotched, I wrote his pair of Oscars.
Piper then starts spanking Goldust and ripping off his bodysuit to reveal women's lingerie.
Of course.
Marty is concerned.
Roddy then returns the kiss before dragging him around the ring, while Marlena has made her way out with a robe. And the Golden One escapes to the floor and takes off to the back. And Piper's music starts playing, so I guess he's the winner?
Yeah, I mean, the other guy, I guess, just gave up. This was maybe a way to look at it, because you can't have a count out for a match that doesn't start in the ring. But, you know, it's mostly just a way for Piper to get some WrestleMania glory and Goldust to not take a pin.
Yeah.
We get it. It was fun.
So was this match the inspiration for future bra and panty matches that we would have to
I think
through?
Sable was probably
Yeah.
the inspiration.
Coincidence that she debuts.
Sable and Sunny
On
are
the show
probably
this
more of the
happens.
inspiration for that.
Yeah.
But this would be Piper's last appearance in the WWF until 2003.
Oh,
Damn.
But he might show up someplace else.
I mean, you know, Lord willing.
We get Vincent Lawler previewing our main event, and the King asks how it could follow what we just saw. Before McMahon sends us to a video package with more Michael Cole dubbed in narration. Highlights of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, including the Heartbreak Kid training in San Antonio with Jose Lothario, his trainer, and Stu Hart training his son in the dungeon. We get Shawn in his locker room talking to the camera, saying everyone knows the story. Now it's time for the final chapter. Bret says it's do or die, and we will find out how good Michaels is. Because everyone knows how good the Hitman is.
It's pretty funny. He's like, the final chapter. And it's like, spoke a little soon.
Yeah,
We all know the final chapter. It's one of the most, yeah. But hey, I didn't, that wasn't planned.
Was it?
I mean, it wasn't planned like that.
So back in the ring, Howard Finkel is in the ring, and he welcomes Gorilla Monsoon back as president of the WWF.
How about that?
How convenient that Piper's leaving and Gorilla is, right?
I mean, he just stripped an opponent in the ring and grabbed him by his Oscars, so maybe he's being forced to take a break.
It's a bit of an HR issue.
Yeah, perfect timing for Gorilla.
We head to our 6th match. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, with Jose Lothario, versus Bret, the Hitman Hart, for the WWF Championship in a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Quick question that I should have asked earlier. Did Jose Lothario actually train Shawn Michaels?
Yes, he's a real person.
I know he's a real person. I was just making sure that he actually trained him, or if they were just trying to add that. Because, not a lot of people would have known who trained Shawn Michaels probably back then. Now we have the internet.
Yeah,
They did enough vignettes that...
Yeah, to like lead up, I'd imagine. Yeah. But nobody knew that during the time of the Rockers, I'd imagine.
No, probably not. Yeah. They didn't need him to be part of the story.
Yeah, not at all.
So HBK's music hits, and out walks Lothario, who then points to the ceiling, where we see Shawn in the rafters, and he starts to ride a zip line down to the crowd.
Which everybody has seen over the last 26 years, because it is one of the most broadcast entrances in wrestling history, I think.
It's
iconic.
There we go. That's the word.
Whatever happened to the Iconics? I know what happened.
Peyton Royce is pregnant.
Yeah, like I thought one of them.
They went to like Impact or something.
Right? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And one of them is just living the perfect 10 life or whatever.
Earl Hebner, the ref, explains the rules of the match. They wrestle for 60 minutes. Man who scores the most decisions wins the match. Pretty basic. Mm-hmm. Bret then rolls out of the ring to give his sunglasses to a young fan, which happens to be his son, Blade.
Yeah.
Babyface shit.
That's rude, actually. Your son has enough of your glasses at home, Bret. You could have given it to some other kid there. Your son, Blade, would have understood.
Trying to tug at the heartstrings.
The match gets going with several lockups into mat wrestling when they trade takedowns, headlocks, and arm bars. And was it just me, but was the ring sounding really hollow? Like when they're bumping on it?
Just a little louder, a little more. Or
it was almost like because we know WWF mics the ring to make the bump sound more, but it sounded more hollow during this match.
More like hitting a tennis ball or something kind of sound.
Maybe it was just me.
I do not remember, but I do believe.
I can't remember either.
About 10 minutes in now, Hitman's delivering right hands and shoulders in the corner when Michaels reverses to return the favor. Hart reverses a whip attempt, but HBK looks to leap up and over a charging Bret, only to get caught, so he transitions into a head scissors that sends the Hitman out to the floor. Back in the ring, Shawn with a fireman's carry takedown, but Hart recovers to toss Michaels over the ropes, but he skins the cat and comes back in to lock on an armbar.
And Vince McMahon, maybe with some of the best insight on commentary I've ever heard from him. Shawn is more instinct, and Bret is more strategy. It's like, Vince, it's not just what a maneuver. It's pretty nice.
That's actually some insight.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Jerry Lawler also had this very fun dig at a couple of WWF stars of the past, and says that we could have a Jurassic Park match between the Huckster and Nacho Man.
Which I think was actually a dark match on the free-for-all.
Did they have the Huckster versus the Nacho Man?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god, why is that not on tape? Because they probably get sued under the sun?
I mean, hey, you got money.
That's incredibly petty and lame, but I would love to see it.
I'd pay $60 for a pay-per-view just to watch that match.
You know you would.
I mean, we were paying $50 back then already, so
Another $10 just to see the two.
But it was
guys
on
dressed up.
it was on the free for all, so it was free.
true.
That's got to be on the internet.
And Billionaire Ted was the special guest referee.
Oh my God!
Who won?
It was a no contest.
Yeah,
Just a pose off, brother.
there's another joke in there.
It didn't take place at the Arrowhead Pond. It had been pre-recorded elsewhere, and it ended in a no contest when both competitors, along with Billionaire Ted, just expired in the ring.
Comedy.
Awesome.
So back to our match. Bret escapes by sending HBK to the ropes, nailing a knee to the gut to gain the advantage, momentarily with a headlock. Only for Shawn to use a chin breaker to escape. More arm bars and headlocks shared between the two when the Hitman would catch a leapfrogging Michaels to hit a spine buster and immediately try for the sharpshooter, only for HBK to make the ropes. Hart then clotheslines Shawn out to the floor, and he follows out. But his attack is reversed, and Bret is shoved into the ring post and lands in the timekeeper's lap, which I think was Tony Schimmel, which we might get to know a little bit better later on. Michaels then goes for some sweet chin music, but Bret moves in time, leaving a laid-out timekeeper on the floor with 45 minutes left on the clock.
That was a pretty sick maneuver. The Bret getting out of the way, and Timekeeper really took it pretty hard.
They make their way back into the ring for more mat wrestling as the Hitman locks on a headlock, giving officials plenty of time to get the timekeeper on a stretcher to the back.
My thought was you don't get like a DQ fall for assaulting an official. That was my first thought, and I was like, I guess not.
I mean, it wasn't intentional.
That's true, but it would there'd be some animosity because I don't know, like Shawn Michaels, how heely is he at the moment?
Not really.
Not
Neither one of them were
heels. Yeah,
real heels.
And Shawn got the bigger pop at the beginning of the match because, well, he's hot and flashy.
Swinging from the rafters, baby.
Mm-hmm.
The Heartbreak Kid escapes and nails a clothesline, only for Hart to return the favor to go back to the headlock. Again, Shawn escapes and goes for an Okada roll, only for Bret to hold onto the ropes, so Michaels hits a drop kick and an arm drag to start working the arm and shoulders, with 40 minutes remaining. Hitman makes it to the corner to escape with several elbows and uppercuts, but HBK comes right back to reverse a whip to send Bret shoulder first into the ring post.
Posted.
Shawn with the shoulder breaker, a second rope double axe handle, a hammerlock slam, and rammed into several turnbuckles shoulder first to keep up the attack.
Love the limb work.
35 minutes remain when Michaels hits an armbreaker DDT before locking on a cross armbreaker, which the Hitman escapes by stomping on the Heartbreak Kid's head. Shawn comes right back with a shoulder tackle, and he goes into an arm lock, with Hart escaping this time with a hot shot across the second rope. Bret then catapults Michaels into the ring post for a 2 count. Goes for a turnbuckle smash, only for HBK to block and reverse, following up by charging into a corner with a crossbody, but the Hitman moves in time, leaving Shawn prone across the top rope. So Hart delivers several boots, an inverted atomic drop, and a clothesline for a near fall, following up with a bulldog and heading up top, only for Michaels to meet him there. Now Bret fends off HBK, allowing him to nail a top rope facebuster at the 30-minute mark, which ends up taking down the ref as well.
Ref bump.
And the Hitman slaps Hebner to wake him up. But that just causes him to walk into a power slam by Shawn for a 2 count. Michaels then telegraphs a back body drop, allowing Hart to hit a pile driver for a near fall.
How to kick out of the pile driver?
Back and forth.
I love Jerry Lawler being like, "You can't kick out of a pile driver." I'm like, yeah, I feel you, Jerry.
Keep selling it, Jerry.
Yeah.
Bret continues with a leg drop and goes up top again. But HBK press slams him down to the mat and nails a Hurricanrana for a 2 count. Shawn looks to hit some sweet chin music, but the Hitman avoids, so Michaels hits a backbreaker for a near fall. HBK with a back elbow, allowing Shawn to tune the band up again. But Hart rolls to the floor this time to avoid and regroup, only for Michaels to fly off the top rope with a crossbody out to the concrete.
Yeah, when he avoids that super kick, the fans booed Bret, and I did not appreciate it.
They roll back into the ring with HBK coming off the top rope with another crossbody, only for Bret to use the momentum to roll on top for a 2 count. The Hitman then tries for a backslide, which Shawn counters into a small package for a near fall, followed by a Northern Lights suplex for a 2 count. Now 25 minutes remain as Michaels locks on a sleeper, with Hart continuously trying to escape, only for HBK to counter somehow to put it right back on. Shawn finally tosses Bret to a corner and charges in, but he's back body dropped over the ring post and to the floor.
Big old bump. My God. I rewound that one a couple times. Like, it's a big boy bump for a big boy paycheck.
Yes.
The Hitman goes out to ram Michaels back into the ring post before heading back into the ring to continue to work over the back with forearms, whips to the corner, a second rope elbow, and a backbreaker as we reach the 20-minute mark.
I know. I figured we'd get more, at least one fall before the 20-minute mark. But hey, we got to make both these guys strong.
Neck and neck, baby.
Hart keeps up the attack with a leg drop. Boots to the back, another toss to the corner where HBK does his version of the flare flip, allowing Bret to climb up for a super back suplex for a near fall. Hitman locks on a camel clutch, but Shawn makes it to his feet to nail a sunset flip for a 2 count. Now Michaels is struggling to even stand because of the hurt back when Hart sets HBK up on the top rope. But Shawn's able to shove away Bret and go for a double axe handle, only for the Hitman to nail him in the gut on his way down. We get a Russian leg sweep for a near fall, a turnbuckle smash, and another flare flip that sends Michaels over the ropes, landing on Jose Lothario.
Not old Jose.
No way, man. Hart follows out and tosses HBK into the steel steps. That also catches Lothario, sending him into the guardrail.
See, it was around here that I started getting some heel vibes from Bret, because it was like he's already thrown Shawn over the post onto Jose, and now he's thrown Shawn into Jose, and just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, yeah, Bret. We do know that Bret will, when he's up against the ropes, he will do whatever it takes to win, and he lets you know that. Mm-hmm. So it only makes sense that you got to do it in this 60-man match, 60-minute man match. I'm glad it's not a 60-man match. I don't want to watch a 60-man match.
At least not tonight.
I never. I don't think I ever want to see that.
Yeah, with 3 rings, 3 giants.
Absolutely.
They head back into the ring with 15 minutes remaining, where Bret nails a belly-to-belly suplex for a 2 count. He goes for a vertical suplex, only for Shawn to float over and transition into an Okada roll for a near fall. The kick-out sends Michaels stumbling to the floor, so the Hitman decides to fly through the ropes with a tope suicida, before rolling back into the ring, thinking he will get a decision by countout. But HBK makes it back in at the last second.
A little more heel-y stuff from Bret by, not following him out and rolling him in, by just hoping for the countout.
Hart goes to bring Shawn in the hard way, only for Michaels to float over and the 2 men fight over a waistlock that ends with Bret delivering a bridging German for a 2 count. The two are trading strikes, with both of them being exhausted, but the Hitman gains the advantage with another camel clutch as we are at the 10-minute mark. HBK makes it to his feet and he begins to fire up with elbows, but both men hit clotheslines for a double KO.
Bum, bum, bum.
More traded strikes when Hart sets Shawn on the top rope again for a superplex, followed by an attempt at locking on the sharpshooter, which Michael blocks and kicks away Bret. The Hitman attempts it again, only for HBK to momentarily block again. So Hart turns him over into a single leg crab.
Settle for the crab.
But Shawn is able to make the ropes to break the hold. With 5 minutes remaining, Bret nails a backbreaker. Goes for the second rope elbow drop, only for Michaels to get his boots up into the Hitman's chin, allowing him to fight back with a drop kick, forearms, and whipping Hart sternum first into the corner. HBK with a back elbow and a body slam before coming off the top with a double axe handle for a 2 count with 3 minutes remaining.
Oh my gosh.
Shawn hits a snap suplex and comes off top with an elbow drop for a near fall, followed by a gut wrench powerbomb with 2 minutes remaining. Michaels heads up top again, coming off this time with a moonsault for a 2 count, before leaping off the second rope with a hurricanrana for a 2 count. Another body slam from the Heartbreak Kid, and he looks to go up top again, but he struggles on his way up with 1 minute remaining. Shawn tries for a missile dropkick, but Bret catches him and applies the sharpshooter with 37 seconds left. But Michaels doesn't give up,
Damn right.
and the time expires. So the ref hands the Hitman the belt, and he begins to walk to the back. But Gorilla Monsoon makes his way into the ring to order the match to continue with sudden death overtime rules.
I know. I was like, I can't believe WrestleMania. It's a 60-minute match. It doesn't end. I was like, oh,
Can't have that.
can't have that. And I'm glad they can't have that. And it just adds a little bit more. We're like, these guys are too good. They want it too bad.
Hart doesn't understand why, but he reluctantly returns and goes right back to work on the Heartbreak Kid's back. A back body drop and a backbreaker by Bret, whipping Shawn to the corner, only for Michaels to leap up and over a charging Hitman, nailing Sweet Chin Music, but he's too exhausted to make a cover.
No.
They both make it back to their feet, where HBK delivers another super kick for the pin and the win.
And no.
And the boyhood dream has come true.
Fireworks, flowers, champagne bottles popping.
The ref goes to give the belt to Shawn, but he would say to Hebner, "Tell Hart to get the fuck out of my ring," which Michaels denied for years, but he finally admitted to. And once Bret has gotten up and is leaving, HBK takes the belt and stares at it. And he stands, and Hebner raises his arm before trying to help him put it around his waist. But Earl's struggling with it a little bit, so Shawn just shoves him away and tells him to get the fuck out. And Michaels celebrates in the ring.
And he's our babyface? Yeah, real life heel.
Michaels then celebrates in the ring before Lothario joins him to give him a hug.
Says, get the fuck out of the ring.
Yep.
HBK then leaps out of the ring to shake hands with the Hart Clan, while we see Blade sing Sexy Boy.
It's a catchy tune.
Awesome.
But I mean, God, his dad must have made his heart sink into his big toe.
And then Vince says his goodbyes before going to a highlight reel from the evening before fading to black. So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of WrestleMania 12?
Hey, incredibly watchable show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, epic last match. It's wrestling. It is not WWE. It is capital W wrestling. Done by two of the best to do it.
That's right. Is that all you're saying? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't help but agree. It holds up still today as it was when it was new. Great show from start to finish. It's got its,
Warrior
funny
match.
moments.
But
It's got its warrior moment. It's got its funny moments. It's got its insanity moments with Piper and Goldust, and then it has the pull at your heartstrings, keep you on the edge of your seat with Bret and Shawn. Must watch television if you are a wrestling fan or want to know what a good wrestling show should feel like. This is the one.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of everything, and yeah, that the way
In a good way.
In a good way. Yes, in a good way. Sometimes that's not always good, but it's covers all of the correct bases.
Yeah, it sets you up for that disappointment at the end when there's no winner, but then Gorilla comes down and it's like, no, we're not having this. We got to
which was
restart.
technically set up by Piper at
Yes.
In Your House, basically saying there will be a winner.
Yeah,
You know? I love this show.
it's very easy watch.
I think it is the best WrestleMania we've watched so far.
As far
agree.
as top to bottom, like there's not you can't call the Warrior match fat because it's so quick.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, it is. It's not. It's an extended squash, yes, but there's Triple H still gets his stuff in.
he does, yeah.
It serves
I mean,
as
there's the goofiness of Piper and Goldust, which I thought. I mean, especially the first half in the backlot was really good. The stuff in the ring probably was the weakest part of the entire show,
But
it's not bad by any means.
no.
But the other matches on the show is a capital W wrestling match. This is a just entirely something you do not expect to see from WWF.
Yeah, it's a wrestling
A
show.
wrestling show.
yes. It's not sports entertainment. It's a wrestling show.
And give it up
with
to
some entertainment aspects to it.
give it up to Diesel and Taker for on paper that sounding laborious, and then the match being good.
I think it's literally both my favorite matches of both of them.
Yeah, I think because we've seen a lot of Diesel in the last year or so, and I would agree that this is probably the best match that he's had.
The only person that they may have had a better match with is Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of those things too where it's like, well, both of these guys are big, and like Undertaker, it's built into his gimmick that he doesn't move fast, and fucking old Kevin Nash, Big Daddy Cool, he's not lightning fast either. So just like they match each other's pace and size, and it's done better than a lot of guys that are of equal size would be able to pull off.
And I mean, the first match, the 6-man, like there is some very good psychology
Yeah.
in that match.
James is there, Owen's there to put that thing together.
Snake's there.
Snake's there to put it together. And it's like, oh yeah, this is how a 6-man match should look.
Exactly.
It's not mayhem, and then whenever there is mayhem, it's justified by heels and distractions and things that are not so wacky that it's just like, okay.
Agreed.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
Ultimate Warrior's really cool pyro that's the shape of his makeup. It's like, damn, they really are going in on, they're just going to have him squash some people to the top, see if he can keep his fucking shit together, which I don't want to see, obviously. But he still gets a huge reaction, so it is what it is. They're doing something that feels probably like a good idea at the time.
Oh yeah, the kid in me always gets excited anytime I hear the Warriors music play, especially at Mania, because we only got a few of them before he warriored up and completely and stopped being the person I wanted to hang posters of on my wall.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Chili McFreeze finally got his name.
exactly.
The thing with the Warrior, though, is like, that's a guy you steal a pay-per-view with, not a guy that you keep at the top forever. He's not Hulk Hogan.
No.
Whatever you want to say about Hulk Hogan, love him or hate him, it still made sense for a long time and probably went on too long, but like but Ultimate Warrior is stealing a pay-per-view. Hulk Hogan's not stealing a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree there. I mean,
I
Hogan
think
has stolen a
both-
pay-per-view.
Because, I mean, as we'll see from Warrior, he doesn't last very long because he pretty much gets upset that he's not being pushed to the very top.
Yeah.
The thing with Hogan and Warrior, like, if they had realized that they could do more for the business by continuing to be a upper card guy
Yeah, later into their career.
and helping build people. Because this is, as we'll see, and it begins on this show with Jake. Jake is helping build
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Jake is now back in the WWF. He's on the booking committee at this point. So he's helping out in that room. And, spoiler alert, he takes a lot of pins.
Oh, yeah.
But he takes a lot of pins to up-and-comers
Exactly.
over the next few months to help build
The future.
the future. Like,
As wrestling,
but if he had come, if just using the parallel between what Warrior's doing and what Jake's doing, like, Jake could have come in and just been like, I'm fucking Jake the Snake Roberts, put me in the IC belt, picture right now instead of, building these other characters up.
yeah, but
Like,
Jake is older than Warrior, and but still, I know what you mean.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like Warrior, like, you have your Triple H, who is an up-and-comer, and
just wants to
you
step
basically
up.
just do an extended squash on him.
Yeah, it's not good for him. Although
Built him up for a year without taking a pin, and then you just...
Which,
this is also his punishment.
Obviously,
from the click
no,
thing.
not,
That hasn't happened yet?
Still hadn't happened yet.
Oh, for some reason I thought we had talked about that already.
No.
But I guess it hasn't happened yet.
Punishment comes at the
King of the Ring. So, like, obviously us knowing 26 years down the line, this doesn't really affect Triple H a whole lot.
He ends up okay.
He's doing okay.
Yeah.
But if you were in that moment thinking about what happened, you're like, you've built this guy up for an entire year, and then all of a sudden you just have this old star who hadn't been around in four years
Yep.
come in and do an extended squash on him.
After he kicked out of the pedigree, they didn't even have to do the pedigree thing, man. That was a little brutal.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he could have just got the win over him quickly. He doesn't
could've
have
just-
to take the pedigree and then fucking
Back
pop up
body
faster
drop
than
him.
the goddamn Undertaker.
What else? You've got the debut of Sable, which, I don't think anybody expected her to become what she became after this debut.
Definitely
but
not. I mean, when she came out, most people were just looking at her as another one of Triple H's.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh,
What
he's
month
gonna
is she the centerfold of?
she's
Exactly.
gonna show up before like Marrow, and then I was like, oh well, it works in the storyline that they created. But at first I was like, poor guy, which we can still say, but
What else?
So, question I have, the 60-minute match, because I've seen a lot of differing opinions online about it. Like, a lot of people are like, the last 10 minutes of the match is one of the best, would be considered one of the best matches of all time. But
it's very
when you take in all 65 minutes of it or so, what is y'all opinion?
It's great. It builds. You start. That's how wrestling works. You start with like mat work and holds. Shit builds up to the point where people are doing power moves to each other.
I
and
mean,
kicking out of
you
them.
even mentioned that there wasn't any pins, or there wasn't any, like, it was 0-0 at the end of 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And you said you were even surprised at one point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, that was my issue with it back in the day. Was it was good. I mean, it still is good, but it needed those little
You wanted it to be like
explosions
2-3
a
or
little
whatever,
sooner.
or end on 2-2.
Not necessarily have somebody get a pin, but have some more believable pin attempts earlier on in the match instead of having it be rapid fire towards the end.
I wonder if it was maybe a thing where Bret was like, if this asshole is gonna pin me, he's only fucking doing it one time. It could be something like that.
probably very much.
But it's like, he's like, yo, it's like
Probably
one thing
very
where it's
much
like,
what
hey,
it is.
if we go 2-2 and you're putting him over, like, that's me taking 3 pins. How about fucking 1? Which, if I was Bret Hart, I wouldn't want to be pinned by this dickhead either. So it's understandable. But, yeah, to heighten everything, someone taking 3 pins would have maybe made it more exciting leading up to that 60-minute mark.
I'm perfectly
With
fine with
ending
there
t-
not being any pins before
Totally.
the end, but I just wish there would have been some more early on believable close calls.
Yeah,
Just to
believable is the right way to
pull
put
my
it.
ass up to the edge of the seat again.
Yeah, maybe some higher. Yeah, because there's like some close calls, but they don't really milk the like 2.95 kick out.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 30 minutes or so is all complete build up. Once it hits the 30-minute mark, that's when like, the near falls start happening,
which is how it should
more often. So, would you guys put it on the short list?
Oh fuck yeah!
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that, I was that towards the end, it feels very much like the 2 counts back to back, big power moves. Feels very like New Japan. It's like some G1 or G1 final or a like even kind of the way that a lot of the current heavyweight title matches are, where it's just like, all right, we know it's coming, but like, how's it gonna happen? Like, who's gonna make the mistake?
Yeah,
Which is, I love that shit.
I definitely shortlisted just because, I mean, aside from it being a masterpiece of storytelling and ring work, I mean, and they did a lot to keep the audience from getting bored. Yeah, there wasn't any moment that I can remember during the show where the audience seems to get too distracted. And
I mean, I want to say this like
taking
the
over for
fourth or fifth time I've probably watched that match in total, and I never get bored with the match, even though it's a 60-minute. Like a lot of they're not doing a whole lot, but I never get bored watching the match.
It's also well paced. Like there's the ref bump and the super kick to the timekeeper are all, and the Lothario bumps and stuff like that. They're all very well. They're all paced in the right spot that kind of cover for nobody taking a pin. Where those are the exciting moments as opposed to like somebody actually making the pin. So they kind of was smart to, without those, which if you got to have that even in a 60-minute match, whether or not somebody takes a fall, but they were properly sprinkled. I felt like. Plus, I love it when a match starts. Limb work was great, but I love it when a match starts with people doing some mat wrestling, some catch wrestling.
Absolutely,
build it up.
How about most disappointing?
For me, it was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to deal with Warrior because I know it's not for a really long time, but I'm just like, so it doesn't even amount to anything, and I never found him interesting because I was not like watching it as a kid, even though I knew who he was as a kid. I'd catch the Saturday morning like recap shows and stuff like that.
Stars.
Yeah, just like Yokozuna. Like every little kid knew who Yokozuna was, whether they watched wrestling or not. Same with Ultimate Warrior. But I never, I think you had to be there to be a Warrior fan. Nobody's a Warrior fan, that's getting into the product after Warrior, even after his comeback. It's like you had to see him the first time. Unless your brother or friend told you about him, like, he was awesome.
I'd say for me, not that it's really disappointing because there's not a whole lot of disappointment on this show, but just the realization that Jake the Snake is not who he once was, and he has more of that old man Jake appeal to him now instead of the mastermind manipulator, just visibly looking at him. It's more of a aww.
They threw a shirt on him, but he is still over. The DDT still gets chance, and it gets teased really well and intelligently, and like he still gets a pop, and people are still there for him either way. But it doesn't feel like charity from the fans. It feels like that they're like actually, excited.
The Bronco footage.
It's a little whack. It's pretty hacky.
Leading into then the back half of the Piper Goldust, which, like I said earlier, is probably the least appealing part of this show because it's just not really that good.
No,
they're just tearing clothes off each other, and it's played almost more for laughs.
It is.
Yeah,
it's just to humiliate him and for Piper to,
But I guess
strong.
It kind of furthers the Goldust character a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
Even though it's played for laughs.
Yeah.
But I guess there's only so much they could do if they recorded the opening part of it a few days before and Piper broke his hand in the process. So
that is true.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's like, oh yeah, he's not gonna lay into him with with right hands.
1980s, Hot Rod probably would have, but 1996, not so much.
Yeah, it probably cleaned up his act a little bit.
Anything else disappointing from you guys?
I mean, there's not very many matches, but there's also not very many stars. So it's a good year to do a 60-minute match.
There's
Because it's
no
like,
euchre.
who? No what?
No euchre.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, oh, this is I thought about that. I was like, this is a good year for the last match to be 60 minutes. Because, like, who are we missing here that we, like, really fucking, like, it's like a bit.
Other than Razor and 1, 2, 3, there's not really anybody that's just
Yeah.
ringing the bell.
No, not at all.
I mean, there's no.
No tag
The
team.
tag team championship match was on the free for all as well, but the tag team tournament, it was the Godwins and the Body Donnas. Like, do we really need them on the main card?
Sounds like in your house.
Yeah.
That's an in your house match if I ever heard one.
I think it will be.
One other thing that I'm
I
kind
guess
of
it's Sunny not being on the show, but it's like the free for all. She's with the Body Donnas, but we don't
Yeah,
need Body Donnas.
You figured they would have had her pop up somewhere on the show just because she's
Sunny.
the hot girl of the moment.
You can say that twice.
One other thing
Hot
that
girl of the moment.
I'm disappointed, Shawn Michaels' attitude
Yeah.
after the match.
We all know he was a fucking cocksucker.
I mean, we do, but
Not
just
that
to
there's
like,
anything wrong with that.
no. I mean it in a derogatory way. Dickhead. There we go.
There we go.
but just like, you have your moment, and instead of like reveling in your moment, you're
Get him the fuck out of my
You're
ring. Get the fuck out.
spewing hate and dislike towards other people.
Yeah.
Like, it was just
I want my moment. It's just bratty. It's just a bratty, shitty thing to do.
yeah. It maybe. So going into my next question, performer of the night, because of that, it makes me want to notch him down just a little bit and give it to Bret.
That's like, have you ever been like seen a little kid at like a birthday party or a Christmas or something like that, where they like get a gift and they're like, "That's not the one I wanted," and like throw a fit, and you're like, "Oh, this hurts my heart so much to see."
Super
This
Sweet
is
16, but I didn't want it
Yeah.
to be white.
yeah, it's just it's so gross, and it's just like, my God, that sucks. And that's what he's doing, which is like something everybody's seen and everybody hates.
Yep.
It just like it gives you douche chills. You're like, ugh.
Some Fang McFrost.
Some Panic Frost for sure, right up my spine. But hey, you know, it seems like he turned out to be okay in the long run.
Bang
Seems
Seems
like he-
Frost and Booger Red. We missed out.
Anything surprising on the show? I mean, obviously, first Stone Cold that
Yep.
we've seen.
Yep.
First Sable we've seen.
Sable coming out with
Mark Marrow.
Mm-hmm. The Wild
I don't
Man.
know if that's a good surprise on the Marrow, because
We know.
Those people who make their debuts on Mania. I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily his debut.
it was Marrow's
Was it? Okay.
debut. Austin had started using Stone Cold a couple weeks earlier on Raw. It was Sable's debut as well,
Okay.
because it was the
Worked
first
out
time
well
he
for
was
her. Yeah, we kind of gave the Marrow. I said it like they did on
You
the show.
said
Yeah.
you're listening to Pettingill there, bro.
You can call me Todd, but we gave him.
Don't call me Al.
We gave him the eulogy in his last WCW match. So we're like, we know it's not going to work, and we sang our praises of what we thought he did in WCW, which we think that he did a lot for those WCW pay-per-views, especially, you know, he was the king of like the first match for a long time, and to good effect. So, you know, we liked you, Johnny.
Yeah. Liked you, Johnny.
We hope you're doing well, Marrow.
Don't care for you, Mark.
Making their way to the ring,
It's trivia time.
Kidoke.
This week, the category is the numbers game. So you get 5 points for a correct answer.
Okay.
It's not a number.
Okay.
It's the numbers game, but it's not a number.
The question is, which wrestler had the most wins on the shows we covered?
3 and 4, 93, 94.
93 and 94.
I know I'm not willing to do a wild guess.
Okay. Do you guys want to go to multiple choice?
I would love to go to
Yes,
multiple
I would love
choice.
some multiples.
Okay. Your options, and you'll get 3 points if you get this one right. Your options are Bret Hart, Dustin Rhodes, Ric Flair, or Sting.
I will
Michael?
be choosing Bret the Hitman Hart.
And I will be choosing Dustin.
And both of you
Or
incorrect.
Wow.
Tell me it was Sting.
It was Sting.
It was Sting. Yeah, it's funny because we just think about Sting never getting his due early on because of circumstance. And
All forgetting the wins that he got
all
along
forgetting
the
the
way.
wins he made along the way.
But I got a bonus question for you.
Ooh,
For 2 points.
how many?
How many wins did Sting have?
9.
That's a good guess. I'm going to go 13.
Since it was Price is Right rules, do you want to change your answer?
No, I'll just keep it solid. I was going to ask that before I
I
guessed.
should have said that before, sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. We play it fast and loose here.
Well, Shane gets the points, as it was 12.
Ooh. That's cool. 13 was the first number that popped in my head,
Yeah.
so I was going to just stick with it.
Let's see, my first
I was-
number was 11, and I thought, that seems like too many, so let's
Yeah.
take it back a bit.
Once you said 9, I was like, I mean, but how many shows did we watch? They only do, one pay-per-view a month.
I got another bonus question for
Oh
you.
my gosh, the hits just keep on coming.
I'll give you 1 point for the rest of the top 5 in wins. You might want to write those down.
Well, I mean, I feel like you gave us a couple of the answers.
Might have.
Maybe. We'll go with that one. We'll go with that one. Okay.
Just going to read them off.
All right, Michael, tell me what you got.
Bret Hart, Dustin Rhodes, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and Razor Ramon.
3 points for you.
Okay.
And Shane?
I guess I didn't put a total of 5. I just put 4. We'll go with this one because it was in my head anyways. Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Too Cold Scorpio, Hawk, and Arn.
Oof.
Also 3 points.
What was the different one?
So the rest of the top 5 was Dustin Rhodes, Too Cold Scorpio, Bret, Brian Knobbs, Jerry Sags, Ric Flair, and Vader.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't even think about Too Cold Scorpio. I was just thinking WCW and WWF. I forgot about ECW.
Can't forget about the ECW.
That's right.
I try to sometimes.
There's too many. We watch too many of their shows.
I curse them often.
Yep.
Next week, Massacre on Queens Boulevard.
Speaking of ECW,
Can't forget that. Oh, what a massacre it shall be. But you said Queens Boulevard, so that leads me to believe we are not in Philly.
That is
Nope.
correct.
sitting down in Queens eating refried beans. You guys like the Ramones?
Sometimes.
It's
I like the Razor Ramones.
I bet there's a band that likes wrestling called the Razor Ramones that just does wrestling themed Ramones sounding songs. If not, we can start it.
That'd be
And
pretty fun.
I can
Sing with a toothpick in your mouth.
You're tall, so you're definitely our Joey Ramone, and I can teach Matt how to play Ramone songs on bass because that shit's easy.
Music from this week's show is Wrestlemania Instrumental by Mike Stock and Pete Waterman.
Mike Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I
And
love it. It's so corny.
Shawn Michaels won our main event, so we play Sexy Boy
Oh my god!
by Jimmy Hart and JJ Maguire. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Recipes, drink ideas, just stories that you want to share, or any favorite matches that you have on any of the shows that we've covered.
Were you at WrestleMania 12?
That'd be awesome if you
Do you
were.
have an anecdote?
Did you get to see the end of the Hollywood Backlot Brawl?
Did you see Huckster versus Nacho Man on the Not So Titantron?
Do you prefer Sable from WrestleMania 12 or from the Playboy years? Let us know. Slide into our
I think we all know the
DMs.
answer to that one.
The one where she's naked.
But you can email us those at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com or find us on Twitter, as long as it's still available, at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX.
Happy New Year.
We'll talk to you next year.
Oh, right.